So it will be available in our Provincials YouTube channel.
Okay, that will be really
So
helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think the live session started. Okay. All right, so let's go and get it started. So generally for earned value management, what we generally do is we'll take one simple example. Like the project is to lay 12 kilometers of road, and we have 12 months to do that. And we have 120 crore budget for that. So this is the situation of the project. Now, if I have to build a S-curve for the project, so assuming that the work is linearly distributed, every month we'll have 1 kilometer laid with 1 month and a 10 crore budget. So if I have to draw an S-curve, every month 1 crore. So how much do you think the overall, how will the S-curve look like?
It will be more of a linear kind of a thing.
Yeah, so it's a linear curve, right? So S-curve will predominantly be a 45-degree angle line that comes like this. Okay, so what does this indicate? Every month 1 kilometer we are doing with 10 crore as a budget. So cumulatively when you add 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, so overall what is the value of the project, the entire at the end of the curve? It's going to be 120 crores.
120, yes.
So this is called my budget at completion, BAC. In earned value management, we call it as budget at completion. So the overall budget that we have allocated to complete this project. So that is BAC.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to earned value management, excuse me, we need to, this is something which integrates time, cost, and scope, and gives us the status of the project, how the performance of the project is. And also along with that, it speaks about the forecasting. Forecasting is the additional technique that goes, which adds up to the existing performance. How is it going to impact the future? So earned value management, actually the analysis can be done at any point of time during the course of the project. So need not be after the project is completed, but during the course of the project, anytime we will be able to do that. So whenever we speak about earned value management, there is one thing that is very important, that is the review date. So when are you taking the status? So a review date or status date is what we call. So this is something which is very important when it comes to earned value management. In this particular example, I am taking the review at the end of 6th month. So 6 months have been completed. So when you complete 6 months of this project, ideally, how many kilometers of road should have been laid?
The same way, 6.
6 kilometers, correct?
Yes.
So 6 kilometers is worth how much? If you have completed 6 kilometers worth of a road, how much will the customer pay us?
60
crores. So the 6 kilometers road, whatever we have laid, that will actually earn us 60 crores back. So that we call it as planned value. We planned to complete 6 kilometers of road that is worth 60 crores. Now, when you go and ask the team, you should have completed 6 kilometers of road. So it means 60 crore worth of work you should have completed. But how much did you actually complete? When we ask this question to the team responds to us with the status. So in this particular case, the team has responded back to us saying that we have completed 5 kilometers and we have spent 75 crores. So 5 kilometers of road is laid. It means if you have laid 5 kilometers, how much will the customer pay us?
50 crores.
5 kilometer worth of work, that is 50 crores. So what I'll do is against this graph, so this is 60 crore means it should be less than 60. I'll make another point saying that this is what is in earned, that is what I've completed. So that I'll call it as my earned value. Whatever has been achieved is earned value, and that is worth 50 crore. So this is the earned value. Okay. Now, in order to lay this 50 crore worth of work, how much did we actually spend?
75.
75 crores we have spent. So we have spent 75 crores in order to earn this 50 crore worth of work. Actual cost is 75 crore. So let me connect that also to this. So 75 crores has been spent. Okay. Now, in this situation, what is the inference that you can make out of the project?
Kind of behind schedule.
Obviously, we are behind schedule. How did you infer that you are behind schedule?
Because the PV is more and the EV is
EV is
less.
less. So this is where ideally I'm supposed to be, but this is where I am. Correct?
Yes.
So the difference between these two, I call it as my schedule variance. So schedule variance is EV minus PV. This is where I'm supposed to be, but this is where I am. So in terms of schedule, I'm behind. So in this particular case, 50 minus 60, that is minus 10 crore. So you're behind schedule, and that is worth minus 10 crore. Now, if I take a index of this, so that we call it a schedule performance index. So it means the ratio EV by PV, that is 50 by 60, that is 0.83. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, you have earned 50 crore worth of work and you have spent 75 crores for that. So ideally, if you have spent 75 crores, how much work should you should have completed? 75 crores, 7.5
7.5.
kilometers. But we have completed only 50 crore worth of work. It means 5 kilometers, but we have spent 75 crores. So the difference between these two, I call it as cost variance. So my cost variance is EV minus AC. So it's always EV. EV is the kind of factual value. This is where we are. So from where we are, we will measure to where we are supposed to. Okay. So EV minus PV, AC. So that is 50 minus 75. So that is minus 25 crore. So similarly, if I take cost performance index, it is EV by AC. It will be 50 by 75. It's 2 by 3. So it's around 0.67. 6666 it goes. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So ideally, SPI and CPI should be how much?
Should be 1, yes.
If everything goes as per plan. Anything goes above the plan, it is called as?
Ahead of plan.
You are doing good, ahead of schedule. And anything that goes below the plan, that is kind of
Behind
bad,
schedule.
behind schedule. So same applies to CPI as well. If your CPI is more than 1, then you're having a cost underrun. You've spent less and achieved more work. And if your CPI is less than 1, it means that the cost overrun is there. So it means you spent more and you have earned less. So
Yes.
this terminology, what we are speaking about, is something which is very important when it comes to examination. If they ask you a question, they'll be giving you this SPI, CPI values and say that, okay, what is the status of the project? Behind schedule, cost overrun or underrun, ahead of schedule, cost overrun or underrun.
Okay.
Okay, so these kind of questions you can expect in the exam. Now, let us do one quick exercise. I'll put EV in the center, PV on the top, AC on the here at the bottom. Now, EV is 900, PV is 800, AC is 1200. So what is the status of the project? So you have to tell it in terms of ahead or behind schedule.
It is ahead actually because EV is greater than PV.
Yeah, cost,
Cost overrun.
overrun or underrun. So
Cost
using
is
this
overrun.
terminology, if you can tell the status of the project. So basically EV is more than PV. So it means you're ahead of schedule. See the difference between these two? You planned for 800, but you have achieved 900.
Yes.
So you're ahead of schedule. But for completing 900 worth of work, $900 worth of work, you spent 1200. So your cost overrun. So the situation here is you're ahead of schedule and you're having a cost overrun. Yes, Mr. SK. All right. So cost overrun, cost underrun, ahead of schedule, behind schedule. So this is something which we need to and be able to infer from these values directly. So let us say EV is 700, PV is 900, and AC is 800. Now,
Behind schedule and still cost overrun.
behind schedule and cost overrun, good. So, excuse me. And let's say you have EV as 900, PV as 800, and cost as 700. Now,
Ahead of schedule and cost underrun.
ahead of schedule and cost. The same question, if they ask you with respect to SPI and CPI also, the result is going to be the same. Right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So how much time did you take to answer this? A few seconds?
Few seconds on rise. Yes.
So remember in exam also, when you get these kind of questions and they're asking the status of the project, you'll take few seconds to answer this. So it means you're damn sure about the answer and you took very less time. So you can save a lot of time for the complex questions which are scenario based and you have a uh, big situation to read and understand. Because you
Okay.
can save a lot of time here.
Okay.
Good. So now there is one statement in PIMBOK which says CPI is the most critical EVM metric. So why do you think that they have made that statement? Why not SPI?
Maybe because everything is comes down again to business. Business
Monitoring.
is money.
Okay. Yes, SK. Monitoring. But schedule delay also will affect your business, right?
Yes.
Now let us say that Middle East is kind of getting ready for Football World Cup earlier, right? Now, for them, what do you think is more important?
On
Again,
schedule.
yes. For this example, schedule is more important.
Schedule is more important. Absolutely, right? But in such projects also, CPI is the most critical EVM metric. Why? Why is CPI so important?
It shows the completion of the project, how much it has been completed with respect to the cost that have been provided.
Uh, that's actually wrong way of reporting, right? So now, for example, in this particular case, if you say 75 crores are completed, spent, so can we say that my project is 60% complete?
No, but
No.
if we see, if
Hmm.
it's like if the CPI is like in this example 0.67, it means that we are behind. I mean, the project is no,
Hmm.
it is still not yet complete.
Hmm.
It is behind the schedule.
Hmm. Okay. Behind schedule, but why is CPI considered as most important EVM metric? Why not SPI?
No clue.
Yeah, so there is a simple logic behind the statement, what they made, saying that CPI is the most critical EVM metric. So the logic behind that is simple. So let us say this is my project network. So all activities are connected in finish to start. And there is one activity here, which is directly connected to this. So how many paths are there in this? How many paths are there in this?
Two parts.
Two paths. Okay, good. Awesome. So now let us say that we are measuring the status on so and so date. If you are measuring the status on so and so date, and this activity A got completed, and activity B also got completed, but activity C got delayed. Sorry, activity E got delayed. Now, is my project actually delayed? Do you think my project is delayed?
No, because even if E was complete,
Uh-huh.
because yes, we have a float.
We have a float. So my activity E delay will not actually directly impact my project delay. So it doesn't mean that my project is getting delayed. Now, because you have not completed whatever you have planned, your SPI is less than 1. So if you have completed E
Yes,
also, you have earned whatever you have planned. Then it is all good. But because you have not completed whatever you have planned, your SPI is less than 1. So technically speaking, what does it mean?
actually there is no impact on the project schedule in a way if you see the holistic view, because of float there won't be any issue.
So technically speaking, by seeing the SPI value, we think that schedule is slipping. So we are behind schedule. But actually, we are not behind schedule. You
Yes,
understand what I'm trying to say?
yes, yes,
So because there is a float, and within the float, it got delayed. So it's not my project. It's not that my project is getting delayed right now.
yes.
So these kind of situations will arise when we are specifically dealing with SPI. SPI less than 1 doesn't necessarily mean that uh, your project is delayed, but it needs further inferences, whether the delay is on the critical path or on the non-critical path. Where is the delay? We need to understand that. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, excuse me. But when it comes to CPI, now the delay happened on critical. I mean, we have spent more money on critical path or on the non-critical path. Wherever we spent is spent. You have overspent. As simple as that, is it not?
Yes.
So that is how CPI will give more clarity in terms of how the project is moving forward.
Got it.
Okay. So CPI, how do you understand the CPI? How can you understand the CPI?
By comparing how much we have spent actually,
Mhm.
by how much we should have spent actually.
By comparing how much we have spent against what we have achieved. So can I say that when you say 0.67, can I say that for every one currency of money that I spent, I have earned only 67.67 units worth of work?
Yes.
I can say that, right?
Yes.
Right. So this is the reason why we consider CPI as the most critical EVM metric. Okay. So it doesn't need any further inferences. Directly, you can go and come to a conclusion saying that, okay, this is what has happened with the project. So this is the status. Make sense?
Yes.
Good. Now, let us come here. So this is the state. 5 kilometers are completed like this. Now, what do you think happens with the remaining 7 kilometers of road that we are supposed to complete? What happens?
It depends. Practically, maybe the material procurement would have already been done for those part of the 7 kilometers left,
Mhm.
because of which the cost incurred was more. Maybe like that. Or maybe part of the work has been done, but it is not completed yet entirely, but it is under progress. So under progress work cannot be reported as completed. So we do
Beautiful.
not know.
Beautiful. So now there are situations where as you said, see, there might be a possibility where the project manager has spent and brought all the material. So that is the reason why this increase is being shown. Correct? Or there
Yes.
might be a possibility where there's something seriously that has gone wrong. So this trend is going to continue. My estimations are wrong or something, and this is going to continue in the future also. So whenever we are speaking about the future remaining work, we call that as forecasting. So EVM is something that speaks about uh, what has happened till now, and forecasting is something which speaks about what is going to happen in the future, the remaining work, and how this remaining work is going to impact my overall value. There is a budgeted completion. So originally I planned for how much?
6.
120 crores
Total,
overall
yes.
value, total value. Now, because of this delay, what might happen?
The actual cost might be more than BAC had.
Actual cost might increase. So, what is that going to happen? So, now, originally, this is what you have planned, but now, because of the delay that has happened, what is that you are anticipating? So, that we call it as estimate at completion. That is called as EAC, estimate at completion. So this estimated completion is something which is a forecasted value, which we are projecting that, okay, my overall budget is going to change, and that change is going to be somewhere like this. Make sense?
Yes.
Good. So in order to calculate this estimate at completion, we will have two ways to do that. One is what we call it as typical way. So these are not PMBOK terminology, but for us to remember, we call this as typical performance or atypical performance. When you say typical performance, the rate at which you are going till now is going to continue in the future also. So what is the rate at which we are going now? What is the rate at which we are traveling now?
It's behind schedule, so like 5 kilometers
The
in 6 months.
rate means CPI. So for every 1 rupee spent, what
Okay,
is that you have achieved? So the burn rate. So the rate at
okay,
which I'm traveling right now is
0.67.
0.67, right? Now, if I continue at this rate, what is going to happen in the future? That is what is going to happen to my budgeted completion. Excuse me. So you divide the overall budget at completion by CPI. So that will give you the rate at which, I mean, the overall value at which you are going to
Okay,
complete the work if you follow the same rate at which you are traveling right
yes.
now. Okay, but how this has come? So BSC by CPI. So why should I remember it? How do I remember it? Very simple mathematics. So 50 crore worth of work, we took how much?
7.5,
75 crores. So what is the total work that we need to complete?
120.
120 crore. How much?
A unitary method, basically.
Yeah. So 120 into 75 by 50, right?
Yes.
So I'll replace these values. BAC, 120 is BAC, 75 is AC, 50 is EV. So AC by EV is nothing but
1 by CPI.
CPI, reverse of CPI. No? CPI is EV by AC.
Yes, 1 by
So
CPI.
if I replace this AC by EV with 1 by CPI, that is going to be BAC by CPI. That's it. So your EAC is going to be BAC by CPI if you follow a typical method. If the same performance is going to continue in future. Make sense?
Yes.
Good. But if you say that, okay, as what you have already discussed, if you say that no, my future performance is going to be different than the current. If that is a scenario,
Then the CPI is expected to be higher.
then we have to go and understand what actually went, what actually happened in the project till now. So why is he saying that the future is going to be different? So in that case, so we need to ask a question. The one is, did you buy a material that is required till for the remaining 7 kilometers right now? So if the project manager says that, yes, I bought all the material that is required for the future also now, anticipating some increase in the uh, prices might increase or taxes might increase, so that I bought all the material right now. So if the project manager says that, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
then what do we need to do?
Then we'll have to find maybe the cost that is going to be incurred is lesser than now. So we'll have to start
Mhm.
from. So there'll be a new CPI based on that.
Correct. So the CPI for the future work is going to be different. Now, CPI for the future work only is going to be different, not for the work that has been already completed,
Yes. Like it
right?
will be actual cost plus the new formula.
Hmm. So it is going to be your actual cost, whatever you have spent cannot be brought back. So actual cost plus the work that is remaining to be completed. What is the work that is remaining to be completed? Why do we need that?
Because something has been done. So we are talking about only what is remaining. So it will be BAC minus
Hmm.
AC, BAC minus AC by new CPI.
Correct. BAC is the total work that is there minus whatever you have completed, earned value,
Ah, okay, not AC,
not AC.
earned value. Okay.
Whatever you have completed, you remove it from whatever you need to complete, so you'll get the remaining work. So the remaining work, I will divide it with a different CPI rate. So this is a new CPI rate, what he is anticipating to complete the work in the future.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the first possibility. Now the second possibility is if the project manager says, okay, whatever has happened till now has happened. So I have removed all the obstacles and other things. Now the remaining work, I will complete it at an original planned rate. So what is original planned rate?
Okay.
The rate at which you're supposed to go ideally is CPI should be how much if everything goes as per plan?
1.
CPI should be 1. That is the original plan rate.
Yes.
Is it not? Now,
Yes.
in that case, do you need to divide it with CPI?
It's the same thing. I mean, we can leave it as it is.
You don't need to divide it with CPI. Okay, so the AC plus BAC minus EV, that is a second possible scenario that has arrived with us. Our third case, if the project manager says the estimates, whatever we have made, are no longer, they're not holding good. So the remaining work, I want to re-estimate it from the beginning. So like bottom-up estimate, what we have already done. So the whole remaining work, you do a new, all the activities, estimate the resources, then the costs, and you come out with a new estimate for the remaining work. So this is the third variant. And the fourth variant is AC plus BAC minus EV, excuse me, by CPI. This is the common formula. So here CPI is there, here CPI is 1, so we are not dividing it, that's it. Now, along with schedule performance, cost performance, if your schedule performance is also going to impact, so then I will use this particular thing.
This one is a bit confusing.
So schedule performance plus cost performance at the bottom. So that's it. So cost performance index anyway is there. Now, if my schedule performance is also going to impact my cost, my future work, then what is it you're going to do?
In the first two scenarios, we are assuming that SPI is 1. Okay.
We are not considering schedule performance at all in the first two scenarios.
Okay.
Okay. Good. All right. So the next part, what we will discuss now is the to complete. Oh, okay. All right. So this right side part, whatever is there, this we call it as ETC, estimate to complete. To complete the remaining work, what is the estimate that we are making? So basically, what is the formula to calculate EAC in a typical way? AC plus ETC. So this ETC has been given in the question. So the right side, AC is common in all. So whatever is there, so depending on the situation, your estimate to complete the remaining work, that will keep changing. Clear?
Okay. Yes.
Good. Now, there is one more metric called to complete performance index. This is exactly the opposite of CPI. So CPI is what you have done till now. Okay. What is that you have to do in the future? So TCPI, the formula is simple. That is work remaining by funds remaining. So what is the work remaining?
BAC minus AC.
EV.
Sorry,
Work
EV.
is always EV. Funds remaining is BAC
BAC
minus
minus AC.
AC. So in this case, the remaining work is 70 and funds remaining is 45. So you'll get somewhere around 1.33. So you had 1.67 rate at which you are going. But if you go at a rate of 1.33, then you'll be able to complete this project within 120 crores. Else you can't.
Yes.
Okay. So now when you go and ask for additional budget, generally what happens when you're asking for additional budget? There'll be negotiations that will happen, right?
Yes.
So if you say, let us say that I have asked 180 crores to complete the project. So the customer will negotiate and then we mutually agree about, let's say 150 crores. Now, when you agree and agree to 150 crores, your funds remaining are typically more, is it not? It's not 45 crores, but because they're giving 30 crore more, so it will be 75 crores. Correct?
Yes.
So in that case, your TCPI will be calculated against this new what denominator funds remaining will be taken. So that is considered as EAC, whatever is approved with your AC, so that your funds remaining will be considered as the removal. Is it okay?
So this is a scenario when we are considering at 6 months point of time and then renegotiating with the customer for additional funds. Is it that?
Correct,
Okay,
correct,
okay,
correct,
okay.
correct. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Now,
Yes.
the variance at completion, we call it as VAC, that is variance at completion. At any point of time, what will be the variance that we'll be having at completion of the project? So that is VAC equal to BAC minus EAC, whatever has been approved. So original budget against whatever has been approved. So the difference between these two, we call it as variance at completion.
Okay.
So this is what we generally do in earned value management. So earned value management as a concept, this is there, but when you go and try to implement earned value management, you'll get a lot more things. So I'll just post one question on your screen. So you try to answer that question. So we'll
Okay.
see. I'll just be on mute and I'll post. You just try to think about it and answer. You can pick up the right option there on the screen.
Okay.
Jasmith, did you vote?
Yes, I just now voted.
Okay. Now, you have answered that it is project completed and at the time of completion, it's behind schedule and it is under budget. So behind schedule, under budget is correct. As we can directly see, SPI is 0.8 and CPI is 1.1. But the same option you can also find in B. Project terminated at the time of
Yes.
completion, project is behind schedule and under budget.
Actually, B is the correct answer, no? Because it is
Okay.
terminate.
Why? Why is it terminated? Tell me.
Because
Hmm.
the schedule is not completed yet. Schedule has to be completed. Then only we can say that it is completed. Otherwise, it's like
Mhm.
abrupt termination because of some of the other reasons.
Yeah. So the meaning of termination or completion is either you can say a project is terminated or completed when all the work that you have planned is completed. So if all the work that you have planned is planned value, if it is equal to earned value, if you have earned all the work,
Yes, and
right?
then yes, in
Then
that
your
case it
SPI
should
is
be
going to be one. No?
one. Yes.
So once the project is closed out, when you say project close out, your SPI should be one. Ideally, it should become one. It
I
cannot
was
be.
I was
Yeah.
actually searching for this answer.
Mhm.
Like project, is it all completed or something else? But I overlooked it. I thought that all are completed only.
No. So that is how this will be little confusing. So we can make a lot of inference from this.